MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your hosts, comedian Sean Boyd, Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go. Just another day on the couch, talking about all the problems of today. Welcome back to another episode of Just Therapy, the podcast. It is another beautiful Monday evening, y'all. And when I mean beautiful, my gosh, it is gorgeous today. Happy Eclipse Day and all that good shit. You already know what it is. It's your host, comedian Sean Boyd. And as always, we got my co-host in the building, Miss BBC. What's going on with you, sis?
Greetings. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Hey, being blessed, loving life. And since they're using dual screen, we might as well go ahead and drop who our guest is today. Make some noise for songwriter, reggae artist, Sista T in the building. What's going on?
Bless the love, bless the love, bless the love. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
So real quick, big shout out to our last week's guest, Judge Mary Beth O'Connor. Listen.
Okay. Yes.
If you missed that episode, make sure you check it out, watch it, listen to it on StreamYard. I mean, not StreamYard, Spotify, whatever you want to do, watch it or listen to it. But I'm telling you, that was a great episode. She has a wonderful story. I'm telling you, it will inspire the hell out of you. So make sure you check that out. But yes, happy Eclipse Day. Happy Monday. Hope your work day wasn't too bad. But you already know what it is. We go in your work day with some therapy on the couch to enjoy the rest of your week with. Yes. Listen, I am excited. Let's get on into it. Sister T, how the hell you doing? Thanks for coming on the couch. Though.
I am fantastic. Was reveling in the eclipse this afternoon. It's a sight to behold, to experience the weather change. Like that breeze came in, it was like, whew.
That breeze came in quick too.
Yes.
Wow. It got cold, it got dark, it was pitch dark, and oh my God. And
yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
I don't care what y'all do or who you pray to. I tell you, my God is great. I tell you that wasn't nothing but showing God's dopeness right there. Who can make day turn the light and that beautiful, beautiful sky above to let you know there is a God and I serve an awesome God. So listen, that was amazing today.
Yes, it's a great show.
Oh my gosh, she don't be playing around. That was just that was gorgeous. It had me in awe the whole time, just putting on the glasses, watching it turn the sun into a crescent moon, and man, just gorgeous. What irritated me before we get into your interview, what irritated me, not really irritated me, I really don't let nothing irritate me, but just seeing people's posts on Facebook was like, I ain't know what the hype was about, but I went ahead and watched it, and oh my gosh, I'm like, and then you got people like, oh, I don't know what the hype was about. I was in bed, sleep, blah, 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 whatever. Listen, when you get a chance to witness God's magical things before your eyes, you got to take advantage of that, y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
The hype was about all that. Listen, I was excited to have my little girl with me. She's 4. I know I've never seen the total eclipse. We've seen like a half eclipse before, but the total, I know they said like another 100 years or 200. I don't know what they said, but either way, just to have her with the glasses on and watching it, and she was in awe as well. Just, it was beautiful. It was.
Yeah, that's you made her aware enough to be able to experience it properly. That's a good thing.
Absolutely. And then her memory's good, so she gonna remember this for the rest of her life, even though she's 4. Her memory's fine. So she'll be talking about childhood memories. I remember my daddy took me to see the full eclipse. So
right. That's it. That's it.
Oh man, it was dope. But that breeze, like you said, you can tell. Like I was sitting there, I grabbed my hat, I moved my car a little closer and grabbed my hat because I walked to get something to eat. I didn't eat, so I walked to get something to eat, walked back. And the sun was out and it was warm, and then we go in the back and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm watching and I'm looking, and then I can tell it got a little dimmer. So I threw the glasses on and seen it, and I'm like, ooh, like it was just starting to come into the sun, right? Halfway, and then it got dark again, and I'm like, ooh, it was like almost a crescent, but right going into that end to the full, wow, it was like looking like a fingernail. Then it was just like that little crescent, and then it disappearing right before your eyes, and then it was totally gone. And oh my god! And then did you see the star that was out with it? To the right. Yes. That's what she was just talking about. So, but mama, there was a star. She was like, "Oh, a star out, Daddy." Like, let me ask you this though, not to cut. No, but did you look at it when it was in its fullness? Yes. Okay. See if you can recall seeing a little bright light at the left-hand side bottom. Yep. Okay. Oh, yeah. Did you notice it turned red? Yes. Okay. Yep. I'm done. It was super, super bright. And I was like, ooh, what is that? I was like, it's like a bright dot. Then it turned red. Then I was like, whoa, it was amazing. It was amazing to see it up close and in person. Like I had to take it in. We went up to we actually went to see it in Lakewood. Where my girl stays at. She stays right across the street from where they had like this thing. It was like an art center. So they had like art inside, and they did painting, and she made bead bracelets and necklaces, and they got to paint color and make stars and like magnet stars, and like they had a whole bunch of stuff for them to do. And then everybody was in the back. They had the band playing. Then they stopped it so everybody can watch it. It was really, really, really nice. It was really nice. So I give thanks for it. I'm glad I got to see. Glad I got to see it. It was beautiful. BBC, did you see it? I did not see it. I did not see it. I spent some time just doing some grounding and some connecting and everything like that. So that was why I did go out in it, but I never looked up. Okay. So even when it was total, you never looked up? I never looked at it. That part was just to be. It's almost. I think everybody needed to have their own experience with it. Oh yeah, definitely. And that's just basically what I was just trying to have my own experience. And I love that because the media and the news was making it scary for people. Like, oh, we're shutting down this, we're shutting down that, we're shutting down streets. You don't know what's don't be out there. And I'm glad that people did get to experience it. I remember when I was little, I remember we were having an eclipse, and I don't actually remember. And we made glasses out of toilet paper rolls and put the sheen on it, the solar glasses. And the teacher, my science teacher, just had us like this whole. We went up on top of the school building. Nice. And we got to sit up there. So I think like that was an experience that I will remember. And I was I was little, and so I'm glad that like kids got to experience. My daughter actually got to experience it. She had never experienced one before, and she was super excited about it. And I was just telling Sister T, like my daughter, she's Sagittarius. She's never really excited about anything. So it's like she was just like talking about it. She just was so red, and she was just like smiling. And I was really grateful that her experience got to be what it was. Nice. And me, of course, myself, I experienced something today so it was just like listening to people and watching their videos or whatever like that. I'm glad that people got to experience it in a different way, even spiritually, if you're a cultural person, whatever. That all was
very important for everybody. Everybody had to have their own individual experience.
Absolutely.
And hearing it makes me happy because I didn't like the fear that people were putting into it. So, you know,
But it was all marketing.
yeah, of course.
Because when you got folks that have traveled miles just to come so that they can experience it. When you say parking is $80,
Yeah.
$80.
Yeah.
Wow. See,
Right.
that's the one thing I did like about the Lakewood thing. Parking was free.
Yeah.
It wasn't super packed. It was no drama, no bullshit. Everybody just out there like talking and conversating with one another, and the kids was playing with chalk on the you know, in the parking lot, and it was dope. It was dope.
No, that was good.
Exactly.
I couldn't have went. I wouldn't have rather went anywhere else because the parking was free. I was literally in the lot because I got parked by my across the street from my girl's apartment at this church.
Okay.
And it was like on the street, but it was free parking still. And so I went to go get my chair and my daughter's chair. And I'm like, man, I'm just about to drive. I see a parking spot right there. It was like literally right there. So it was free. Like it was cool. The glasses was free. It was cool.
Oh, that was good.
I know you talk about the media. I don't really do the media shit. I don't.
Right.
Like, I remove myself so much from that. Because like my parents used to watch a lot of news, and it was just all the news was like horrible fucking news. Like it was never
right.
Good.
I usually just watch for the weather.
Yeah, and I use my phone for the weather.
Okay.
Like,
I told you I'm vintage.
No, that's good. It ain't nothing wrong with that. But like, I can't really watch the news and pay attention to the media. I really don't do that. It's just who I am. It keep me like BBC say, grounded.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be because they'll push you if they're able to push you off your center. It's a wrap.
I don't even follow that Cleveland Remembrance page. I can't even follow that because it stresses me out or it gets me overly emotional. Okay. So I just need, what I need. It's like, okay, when I find out what I find out, I'm okay with that. But I try to stay up on everything, but at my own leisure, Absolutely. And I think that, that helps me. But I really enjoyed that. A lot of people were excited because yesterday I was picking up a lot of people from the airport that were flying in just to come get it because where they live, they weren't going to be.
We had 100% of it. We had Northeast Ohio had 100%. Clip. So some people had like 80 something. Like DC had like 87. In Buffalo, it was cloudy, so they couldn't see anything.
Yeah, Texas had a good view as well. Mm-hmm. They said Texas had a good view.
Sister T, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What like when it was happening, when you was watching it, what was going through your mind?
Okay. Well, this was even before it started. I was in my car looking at the sky, and my manager had come in from lunch and was like, well, the sky is clear, it's nice and blue, whatever. And I go sit out in my car and I'm seeing planes.
Yeah.
Not only was I seeing them, but I was hearing them. That's how hard the hustle was. I'm like, okay. So I went inside the building, came back out, went to my car and got my mask.
Okay.
I'm like, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
People are out here. And because when I came out and went back in, I felt a little raspy. So when I get home, I'm going to have to work on it a little bit.
Right.
Because I get paid to talk. So I had to make sure that this is working.
Absolutely.
But I felt
exactly what you mean.
I felt the raspiness. So I'm like, oh, no, it's something. Because I was cool when I came in from lunch. Mm-hmm. But then when I came back out, I'm like, oh, no, wait a minute. Let me go get my mask just to be sure. Mm-hmm. And when I came back in, the first time I cleaned my nostrils out and I wiped my eyelashes because, they stop things from coming into your body.
Correct.
Okay. So, even though that wonderful commercial on television says, the nose is like your filter for the body, but it doesn't work that great. Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah, they literally have a commercial that says that.
Oh, wow.
And I'm saying to myself, okay, as long as you don't cut all the hairs out of your nostrils,
right,
they should be doing their job. But you should also, when you come in off the street, is wash your face.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw some water up in there, clean your nostrils out.
Okay.
Just think, how many times have you gotten sick coming in from work, perhaps, and just laying down? You don't know what you traveled through, but when you wake up, you feel like crap.
Yeah.
A really
You know what I'm saying?
dehydrated.
Yes,
dry.
yes.
Mhm.
But in the instance of the dry, I bought a diffuser.
Mhm.
So I utilize that to keep my air moist when I do my water for my tea. I let that pot whistle for a while to put the mist out in the air, because the environment, although it's basically natural, like the wood floors, that is such a wonderful thing. Oh, if you live on wood floors, you are truly blessed. You hear me when I tell you, because most new buildings they put up are concrete floors.
Yeah.
So that's basically like you putting a battery on concrete and that battery being drained. Just saying that. Just tossing that out there, because it's just carpet. You can put a battery on the ground on top of carpet some kind of way. Something's gonna get pulled. Just saying. So you have to be aware, even if it's plank flooring, it's still cement under there if it's a new building.
Yeah.
So I like vintage. That's my look tonight. Yeah.
So when it started happening, like what was you thinking? Like, did you enjoy it? Like, what was just going through your mind besides wearing the mask?
I enjoyed the celestial presentation, because it was like, okay, if you stood there long enough, you could actually see it, just covering up the sun. But because I was, they actually threw a little get together at my job.
Oh, wow.
They gave away moon pies and little snacks and whatnot. Gave away glasses. So, I was happy for that. I had a little few craisins, because all the rest of that stuff I'm not quite sure about what's in it.
Yeah.
They said it was vegan. Not sure. Not gonna do it.
Right.
In any case, it to be able to say, just like the clouds tell us in Ohio all the time, I'm keeping the sun to myself today.
Right.
For that instant, the moon had the sun to itself.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. I like that.
I'm just gonna stop you right now, because I want to check this out for myself. We very rarely get to be like this.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm feeling something right now.
I like that. I
feel a little chill going on, because that's like serious.
I like that. I like that.
We don't even have a real concept of planetary interaction. I mean, you can tell me astrology, and I'm not an astrologist. I deal with elemental earth, air, fire, water, because I know what those properties do in this plane. But when you're saying on a celestial level, like they said that 4 planets, I don't know what they are, so don't quote me on it, but they said 4 planets are in alignment. Mercury is in retrograde. So I know Mercury in retrograde kind of befuddles people and has them in a state of confusion, for lack of a better word. So it's just a point about their interaction and us being able to visually experience the sun and the moon, just
still for one moment.
Right there.
I love that.
Right there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
When you said that, it reminded me of, I don't know if it was a children's book or just like a fairy tale or whatnot, on how the sun and the moon was dating, but they could never see each other because they're always on the opposite sides working or whatever. And when you said the moon had the sun to itself, like that just, it made me think of that. That was dope.
Right. It's 2 planets. I know exactly what you're talking about, because that's what it reminded me of. Like they were lovers, lover planets. And because they were like in different sides, they weren't able to be together. But the stars every 100 years, they will align a space that will pull them together, like a line, and that will pull them together so that they can be together only for that night. And it brings love to the world and brings love into the surroundings or whatever. So as soon as she said that, that's exactly what I thought of as well.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. I like that. All right, well, enough about the eclipse. Let's get into the show. I don't want to take nothing away from you. I did have to touch on that since it is eclipse.
That's okay, because we all a part of that. So
yeah, absolutely.
And you're rarely really excited about a lot of stuff. So seeing that and expressing that and sharing that with you gave me goosebumps, and like just being able to center that right into this little circle right now. I felt like, wow, like just hearing you talk about the excitement in your voice and everything. That is amazing. And you shared it with baby girl, so that's the part right there. Yeah. That's amazing.
Girl, dad.
I got the best of both worlds. I got a son and a daughter. My son, he old.
Okay.
And, he said he got to watch it, but the little baby girl, she, that's
right.
That's what it is right now. My son had that time, so little mama getting her time, so
yeah,
that's dope. So before we move on, Miss BBC, like I know you said you were, kind of meditating and centering yourself. Were you outside, like on the ground in the grass?
Actually, I was just on my porch.
Okay.
I'm always in the grass, and I'm always hugging trees and stuff like that.
Right.
You already know.
And that's what I wanted to know. I was gonna ask you, like, if you was on the grass, like doing.
No, I just was on my porch, just for a while, and only because the things that I was doing, I needed to just be very close to my house. Yeah. So yeah, I was just on my porch. That's it. But my porch is all wood, so it's still nature.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Sista T, songwriter and reggae artist. Let's get into it. So,
okay,
tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, when did you actually start? What? Hold on. This is the question I'm gonna ask. Okay. What started the love of reggae?
Well, growing up, my parents had record stores. So we would get a lot of promotional records in, and we would play them on outside speakers, right? So one day, just by chance, I picked up a Bob Marley album. And the song that did me like this, play out some music, this reggae music. That song is what got me.
Okay.
And then I had like an intermission, because I didn't come across any more reggae artists that I knew through the promotional music that was coming through. Okay. If it wasn't like a dreadlock person on the cover, I didn't know it was reggae.
Know. Absolutely.
Right. So when I came into it again, I would say it might have been 94 is when I locked my hair up. So that was when I started becoming conscientious
into the Rasta community,
right? Well, just in general, at that point. But in becoming conscientious was what sprouted the locks. So in coming to the precepts of Rastafari, I became more free outside of being raised in Catholicism, right? I went to Catholic school, had the Eucharist and all of that good stuff, but the thing that they could not take away from me, but was the best thing that they gave me, was praying to the Mother and the Father. My opinion, we are in a sense of imbalance right now because we only pay homage to the Father.
Okay.
We need to pay homage to the Mother. I say this because without the two of them together, that's wonder twin power activation.
Okay.
Father can't do everything on its own. It appears as though he is, but we've been told that that's what he's doing. That's not what he's doing. If it were not for the unification of the wonder twin power activation, we wouldn't have food. We wouldn't have rain. We wouldn't have electricity. We would not have any of those things. The plug in itself is procreation.
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, the things that I'm saying are my opinions. So I understand if some people go, but I know from growing up and watching my parents that if my father couldn't do it, my mother did her damnedest to make sure that it was taken care of.
Correct.
So it's balance for me. And that is what I am seeing is like we're out here like spinning around because we're not complete.
Mm-hmm.
And the female doesn't have, how can I put it? Because of the patriarchal society that we are being raised in,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes our words aren't taken in terms of being respected.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have certain people of our persuasion that are deceitful and are liars and cause people to panic about deception instead of asking for discernment enough to say, okay, even though this person, this female, was put into a position of deception, because the Bible says, okay, well, she ate the apple, so this caused all the crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not it for me.
And that's where your freedom came from.
And that is where my freedom came from, to be able to understand the balance of masculine and feminine. I give praise to Rastafari. I understand that in the physical realm, Haile Selassie and his wife, Queen Menem, oh my goodness, I can't pronounce it.
Empress Menem.
Okay, thank you so much, because my letter tongue tied. But the two of them together fortified Ethiopia enough to defeat Mussolini with sticks. They had no serious weapons. So looking at that relationship, I have to respect the unification of male and female in a productive manner. That started my awareness, because you can be in relationships with people and not be aware of what your actual position is. Okay? Your actual position is to love and respect that person and not take advantage of them. Do unto others what you want done to you. If you don't do that, then when you get stuff back that's crazy, what can you say?
Absolutely.
Can't say anything. So those observations came through Rastafari to the point where do unto others what you want done to you. If you want love, you gotta be love, not just say I love you. You gotta be it. You gotta want the best for everybody you deal with, even those that transgress against you.
Absolutely.
You still gotta love them.
And it's sad.
And something so simple as this, because when I drive to work in the morning, sometimes I used to have issues with F-bombs. So what I started doing, because I'm saying to myself, I'm dropping these bombs all over the place, and people don't need those kind of potholes in their world. You feel me?
Right,
so
right.
I started saying, okay, you know what? You have half a car of space in between me and the car in front of me. You are driving a F-150, and you're trying to get into that half a car space, no signal. Okay, now I would have dropped the F-bomb. But what I do now, I hope your coffee is bitter. Oh no, I hope you have a gas pocket. Those are things that you can work through, even if it come back to you. But for that least little inflict of discomfort that person gave you, I hope your coffee is bitter.
And see, I'm the total opposite. What I used to be, well, I've never been road rage energy, but when people do stuff or like on the road or whatever like that, I'd be like, I love you. I love you, my baby. You lucky, I love you. You're lucky. You're lucky, I love you. I have to do that.
When they get the twang, when they get the twang out, you know it's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to give something other than the negative. Like I said, the potholes on the road, people don't need those. So that's why when we ride through certain communities, it's a whole bunch of potholes. And
don't even get me started.
Go to places where it's not that much drama at.
Right.
Not that many potholes.
But coming into Rastafari and coming into reggae music, it was from your mother's store.
My parents.
Your parents.
Yeah, that's how because I'm like going up to Peabody's up top.
Okay.
And not really discerning the music because I'm on a date. So I'm not really, and the people, God bless them, they weren't dancers. So it was basically sit at the bar. So, you're hearing stuff, but not really focusing because of the date thing. Yeah. So it took me from like 80 maybe 81, 79, somewhere in there, that became my awareness. But it wasn't until the 90s where I started putting myself in that position to where I can receive. You know what I'm saying? And then I made connections with some people that are Jamaican that are like very, very prominent Jamaicans. So I experienced some things the first time. I know it keeps making this rubber, but I experienced some things with the first time I went to Jamaica. You know, I'm not name dropping or anything like that. I'm just saying that I was in a situation where I was like, they started doing the night of bingy in front of me, which is, you know, beating of the drums and just chanting, just touching me in such a way that I'm just in awe of what's going on around me.
Blessing.
How can something like this make me feel the way it makes me feel? It's not the Isley brothers, it's not the Pointer sisters, it's not Diana. That's not it. This is something different. That right there. That's the immediate thing in reggae music. And you can have some hard beats and some R&B, some rock, some rap, whatever, but that beat, that one drop,
it's a heartbeat.
It's a heartbeat. And that's what got me to it. And it took me a minute to get to 2000 when I started singing independently with a group called Sisters of Love.
Okay. And
we worked with Ross T. Dub Flex to present that show at the Grog Shop. All female reggae show.
Okay.
So, you know, that was my first time, but my exposure had people say to me, okay, would you record this song for me? So I recorded my first record, I want to say maybe late 95. You know, brother just said, come into my studio and just do the song for me. I don't even think it passed around a lot of circles because it was a compilation. But I like the song, but I want to be able to have the right environment. It's like a real touristy kind of song. If I can drop a few bars for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on with it.
Yeah, please. One day in Ocho Rios, my friend, I'm gonna see you and we'll have a good time. Oh yeah. I said, I know you want to go, still so much to do. Oh, is something you can't deny. I said, we're jamming to the music and the rhythm of the night, doing everything cause it makes it feel so right. We're jamming to the music and the rhythm of the night. Come along with me, yeah, I'll make you feel so right. Come stay with me tonight. First song.
Blessing.
But I haven't really done that in public till right now. So
nice.
You got that.
Exclusive. Yes. There we go. Yes. Exclusive. Let's go.
Yes, love it. Yes, John McLennan, wherever you are in the world, bless your heart and bless your heart. Over and over again.
Yeah, definitely.
Over and over again.
Nice.
Yes.
I like it.
So after that, it wound up to be, I started singing with Cool Runnings.
Okay.
Which had Anwar and Papa Gary. So I started singing back up with them. Somebody else heard me singing, and they weren't even a part of Jah Messengers because Jah Messengers had disbanded in the 80s. But someone else heard me singing when Luciano came to town. That's how I started singing.
That's when he did the backflip on stage?
This was at Peabody's Under.
Okay.
But that's how I wound up singing with Cool Runnings, was because Luciano held the microphone down to my voice when I was singing because he heard me. And me singing, Papa Gary and Anwar heard me singing, and that's how they asked me to do that. A brother that I was dealing with at that time said to Jah Messengers, y'all need to get back together and do the thing, right? Yeah. So they asked me to come sing with them, and I used to just be the girl up front.
Okay.
Right? Cute girl, just do the thing and sing. But through time and different keyboard players, I wound up having to learn how to play the keyboards because sometimes
That was about to be my next question.
sometimes you get people that play music, but they don't understand reggae.
Okay.
Like we had a jazz keyboard player and he would put jazz inflections in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're playing the music for you, you should try to at least get as close to what you're hearing as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we had another brother that, yeah, I'm not going to speak ill of anyone that's no longer on the planet, but suffice to say that I had to kind of learn how to play under duress. And in doing so, has gotten me this far, which I'm grateful for. But just to be able to sing, we did a show this past Saturday at 1899.
Okay.
Right. So please support that business. I'm just sending it out there. It's in Shaker Heights, Ohio. But when I tell you that the people were singing my songs back to me.
Nice.
My songs.
Always a blessing.
And the previous week, a sister of mine, her church had a function, and they asked me to sing at that function.
Nice.
Not only did the people sing with me, the next song I did, they were doing a conga line around the facility.
Nice.
Now, this is a church function. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice.
So to be able to do that and lift people's hearts up, that is my objective.
Right.
That is why I am here. That is why we all are here, but I'm going to just say our home training was not the best.
Okay.
If we don't have examples of good people to modify our behavior towards, because they're like, okay, well, they're living a pretty decent life. I'm seeing how they're doing. Let's see if some of that works for me.
Yeah.
Some people start off and all they are murderers. Okay. But through upliftment, they say, you know what? I'm not killing no more, but this person pissed me off, so I'm going to beat them down. More upliftment, they say, you know what? I'm going to give you a stern talking to, and I'm going to leave you alone. Because 2023 for me's phrase is, what good will come of it?
That's a good
whatever it is.
No, it's true.
What good will come of it? I might want to cuss you out. I might want to beat you down. I might want to denigrate you. But at the end of the day, not even then, at the end of the thought of you wanting to do something negative, you have to say to yourself, what good will come of it? I might go to jail for what I do.
Yeah.
I might accidentally kill somebody. I'm just saying, I might wind up gone.
Yeah.
Why? For what?
Yeah. No, real talk.
But no one wants to sit down and think to themselves. And that's what we were just relating to earlier, is having the ability and taking the time to sit and think.
Yeah.
Whether God sits you still or you sit yourself still.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know what's and taking away from that, but adding to, because I want to go back to playing the keyboard, and you had to learn, and like you said, you had to learn to play the keyboard because of the situation that was happening with people. Now, let's just say, like, okay, you were brought in and you were the upfront girl,
right?
And you're just, you there, you to be cute and draw in the attention and everything like that. But just think, if you hadn't have been on that stage in front of Luciano and he didn't hear you singing, and he didn't, all those things. What if you had been afraid?
Oh, well, see, that was what the issue was from youth.
Yeah.
Right. Because when I was in choir in high school and elementary school, but high school, because high school is peer pressure. God bless them. But, oh my God, you open your mouth too big. Why are you opening your mouth like that when you're singing? I don't understand.
Yeah. I get that.
Really?
I get that now.
But I'm saying,
yeah,
when your spirit is experiencing so much feminine energy coming at you like this, because I went to an all-girls school. Okay. When you have all this feminine energy just trying to denigrate without really intentionally denigrating.
Yeah.
You kind of go, oh, okay. But people don't say, oh God, please stop singing. So I know it's something.
Right.
If I was accepted into choirs, I know it's something.
Right.
So overcoming that, but also looking at the fact that had I come out any earlier than 2000, there were a lot of things going on in the community, music wise, environmental wise, that took a lot of people.
Right.
They took their spirits, they took their souls, they took their physical being and just beat it down, broke it up. Not being strong enough then, not saying that I wasn't strong enough, but just like you're hearing things about people now where, girl, if you come sit on my couch with me, or here, I got something special for you.
Yeah.
Me being an adult and being more aware. Okay. Because there's a lot of folks now that are saying, I would not let my kid be in that situation.
Yeah.
And logically speaking, if my child is going, I'm going with them.
Right.
I'm not letting them go alone unless it's uncle or auntie. And then sometimes not even then.
Yeah.
But just saying there should be an adult in that environment. It should not be you got a video of a grown man putting his arm around a kid talking about you ain't calling me.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in that vibes, that's what I was saying is, had you not been, in your element to be who you were and be free and be who you were and learn the keyboard and everything like that, you have to see her in action. She literally can play the keyboard and sing so beautifully, like without thought to me. This is how I see her. I don't know what she's thinking when she's up there. When I'm watching her, it's like she's gracing across the keyboard. And then like sometimes she would just come off the keyboard and grab the mic, and then she just takes off into a free energy spirit where it's just like, oh my goodness. And it's just such a flow where if you have never experienced reggae before, or if you have never experienced seeing, like, because you see men all the time or whatever, like, oh, they can, they do little things, they play the guitar, they play the bass and do their thing. But to see a woman, a Rasta woman, and the freedom of her essence as a woman is really beautiful. Nice. Had you had that fear, had that not happened, you wouldn't have had the experience. So all those things that you experienced and all those groups that you experienced, got you to the point where you are with John Messenger's band, which is a family band.
Right. It's a family band. But I've also maintained my individuality.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to say that was 2018. Miss BBC, myself, and my sister, Ms. Ice, we put on
all female
reggae show, Reggae Women Rock Against Cancer.
Nice. Okay.
We had poetry, we had drumming, we had singing, we had all kinds of stuff, to the point where one of the gentlemen that helps take care of the rock shop, he said it reminded me of the Gene Carroll show. And nice. I'm showing my time, but I'm also bigging up my city, because at that point in my youth, there was a show that had local talent.
Yep, that had local talent.
Yeah, oh wow. Things, yeah. Okay. And they try to do that on cable, but it doesn't have the same.
Can't be duplicated.
Doesn't have the same fun. But when he said that to me, I started crying, because I know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to be able to say, I'm going to be on TV on Sunday. Y'all make sure y'all watch. That's something else. And to be able to have experienced being on Fox 8, which, on more than one occasion,
yeah,
is a blessing. to be able to have Todd Meany tell somebody I work with about me, to the point where she came down from her office to my office and told me, yes, Todd was telling me about you.
Nice.
Such a blessing. It's such a blessing.
Because that's like 3 different genres of music. She sings opera, he plays an instrument, and I do reggae.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So a lot of my life experience have been so awesome.
Yeah.
To be able to just sit and think about them, and even sharing them with you now is like a resurgence of those feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I know what my job is when I'm on stage, and that is to lift people up. Is to lift them up. It's very similar to, you give a balloon to a child, right?
Right.
A child is hitting the balloon, and it's hitting the balloon, and it's hitting then it drops and it hits the floor. What do? We pick the balloon up and we hit it back up in the air for them to start playing again. That is what we should be doing for each other.
And that's kind of how it happens. And it's like, no matter what mood you're in as an artist, sometimes, you know, because you might be, you know, dealing with family and whatever like that. I'm like, I always tell this story. When I recorded one of my first songs, I had been singing for years. I recorded one of my very first song, which was Dancehall. This just so happened, Sista T happened to be in the studio that day. Now, I had known her from Job Messenger and seeing her, but I didn't know her at this time. And so then I'm like trying to sing a song, but I just couldn't find the vibe. And then she was like, okay, well, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm trying to get it. Now, mind you, the song is called $1 Billion USSY. So everything is just like, so she like, and I'm like, okay, oh my God, I don't want to sing this. I'm in here with the Rasta queen. Like, this is how I'm looking at her. And that's how I see her, and never have seen her any other way. So I go in, and so she like, okay, she was like, okay, whatever. And we talking about like our signs, and we're both Scorpios. So she was like, okay, well, you better put that Scorpio on, and you better get up on that stuff. She like, okay, well, how it go? Show it. So she writes it down, because she always has a notebook. And then she says whatever, and she's like, and you get up on there, and you rock it. And I'm like, oh my, and it's crazy, because even like watching her on the news, watching John Messenger on the news, and Wayne and all the guys there, oh my God, I love them. It's amazing. But I feel like I follow, like, you know, she paved the way for me. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was on the news, all I was thinking is like, I hope I make her proud. I hope I make Mother Queen proud. I hope that, you know, like I'm getting to follow in someone's footsteps and be this person. And anytime I call her, I'll be like, okay, I need help, or I need this, or I need songs, or she's always there for me. Or when I'm going through my anxiety or anything like that, I can honestly, you know that she's not going to let me.
Only if she calls.
Right. But she knows, or whatever. If I'm like, hey, I need some, you know, vocals or whatever like that. Like, she's the person. Like, some people music. And one time she said something to me, and I don't know if it's okay for me to repeat it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And she was like, the only time I actually been ever called up on stage is when you called me up there. Remember that? And I was just like, what? Like, it just that, and that's when I knew that feminine energy, it was just strong. And it's a powerful thing, and it's an upliftment. And when we share those moments and share the stage, and even when you were at Paradise and you would call me up to do Sorry and everything like that, I really feel like I would have never found my voice confidently, you know, if it wasn't for Sister T, you know. And like many of the women that have that, but when she would come and set up her keyboards right in my house, like if we had something going on or whatever like that, and just practice with me. She didn't have to do that, wouldn't take anything from me or anything like that. So when you're in honor of that and that essence and everything like that, because it's something. It's something. She gonna have me crying over here, y'all.
I hear y'all getting teary-eyed.
See, yes, that means you listen.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah. So
for you? What you got going on? Like any shows coming up that people can check out or anything like that?
Let me see. We're doing something.
Yeah,
And we're doing something again, but give them the something first.
We actually was just invited by Carlos Jones to open up for him at Brothers. I'm waiting for it to be announced. I dreamt about the flyer actually. I dreamt that it came out on May 11th, and let me see. That's May 11th at 8:30. We're doing that, and then we have a surprise.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
Yeah,
but it's coming.
Yeah.
So be ready.
Yeah.
Come get a pre-experience.
Well, he definitely promotes it on here all the time. So when we're on here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So Sister T, give out your social medias, how they can follow you before we move on.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm trying to think. I don't have like a following, an Instagram with my name on it. So like my stage name, I don't have one. I have my government name.
So I'm gonna work on getting her a page.
But see, that's why I'm over here this evening, because you see what kind of stuff we had to go through. In this instance, I am a neophyte, and I will admit that. So hopefully the next time we see each other, I'll have a 5G.
Okay.
That right there. Yes.
Oh,
so if anyone wants to get in contact with me presently, you can go on to Facebook with John Messenger's Reggae Band Original.
Okay.
And just highlight and say Sister T on there, and
nice.
I'll get in touch with you if you reach out to me, because trust me when I tell you, I'm here to do some work.
There we go.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Sister T, thank you so much for joining the couch. Don't go nowhere. I'm just saying thank you so much for joining the couch.
Absolutely. It's a blessing. Thank you.
As always. No problem. And let's keep it moving. We always like to do a recap. Since we already talked about the eclipse at the beginning, we'll do a real quick one. And we just talk about what happened to us this weekend, things like that. So mine will be real quick. My weekend was pretty good. Dropped little mama off at her mom's house, and just chilled at home, and had to work on Friday. Usually I don't work on Friday, but then my favorite tournament was this weekend, which was the Super Draft. It's changed names. It used to be the NTD Super Draft. Now it's the Local Heroes. That's the shirt.
Okay.
I was happy with the colors we had. We got orange and brown with a little white in there, so I was cool with that. Because my team, but it's always so much fun to see my softball family from up that way, because a lot of people that I know from the softball community, I know down here and then the Minter way, but it's a really, really fun draft, and it's always giving back to somebody in need, so that's always a good thing.
Okay.
But, the team I had was really good. Like, I didn't coach. I said I was done coaching, especially since the regular guy wasn't running it.
What?
He was there, so that was good to see him. He actually coached the team. But the team I was on, we went the first two games. The first game is at 9:10, which usually I get an 8 o'clock game. I always got the early game, and it's always cold in the morning, so my fingers be cold trying to pitch. So just trying to find it. And that second game I was on. Well, we ended up losing both games, and then we won our third game, and then the bracket play, we won both games, and then we had a nice little run yesterday, but ended up coming in fourth out of 18 teams, which is not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
But we had a good time. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, and a lot of hugs and smiles, and it's always a great time. I'm definitely sore as shit because that was 8 games in 2 days.
Wow,
it was definitely worth it. So that was my weekend.
Nice.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was very interesting. I did drive over the weekend. I really got a lot done, which was, just working on details for, up and coming events. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of grounding and everything. But I also, I met a lot of people on Saturday. Well, what's crazy is I thought Friday was Thursday, and then I thought Sunday was Saturday.
Wow.
So I was driving the whole day on Friday thinking it was Thursday. And it was just real crazy. I was supposed to go to Angels, because they got the reggae night with Organic Sound and Higher Seas, which hasn't played in years.
Really?
Yeah.
And Friday, you said?
Yeah, Friday night.
Okay.
So that was my plan. But thinking Saturday was Friday, whatever. Anywho, I end up yesterday going, and I drove in the morning, and I just met some amazing people giving out amazing energy, and people like really confessing like things to me, and it just was such a levitation. And then today, of course, I actually, for the first time, and I don't know how long, except for that Saturday when we had rehearsal, this was my first day ever taking off, actually driving. And I really got a lot of inspiration. Yeah, so it was really, really good. Really good. Yeah. What about you?
My weekend. It goes by so quick and so flirty. You do chores around the house, right? Then you go shopping, you pay your bills, and then you go back home. So my highlight was my cousin came in from out of town.
Nice.
So we did a little get together on Thursday, because for a lot of folks, that's the beginning of their weekend.
Yes.
In actuality, it's just one day. You think it's two.
Yeah, but it's only one.
It's only Saturday.
Right.
Prepare for the next week.
Yeah.
It's Sunday. And then it's like, but it was a chance for like my cousins to get together, and my uncle, which is his father, to get together and break some bread and enjoy some live music and big up MGM band. Yeah. That was a nice experience. And so just to welcome him home and let him know that, his father's side of the family loves him too, just like his mom's side, right? Because, when people have children, unless that couple is married, more times than not, the child is with the mother's side of the family.
Right.
Okay. So in this instance, he's getting to know his father's side of the family, because like he knows everybody, but to actually know them as people is a work in progress. So that's kind of how I spent my weekend.
Okay.
Again, like I said, it was kind of quick, but I got some stuff done around the house. So that part right there.
That's all. All right.
And we made it to Monday.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. We always like to do childhood memories where the guests and the couchers get into our pass as well as the guest pass. I'll go ahead and start. My childhood memory this week is so I know Menor is not super far, but I don't like to drive back and forth for the tournament. I just stay up there because it just makes more sense to me. So I end up staying in Wycliffe, which was on Euclid Avenue right off the freeway. And I was on like 15 minutes, 12 minutes from the fields, which was cool for me. But I was driving to go get a massage on Friday. I got a massage on Friday. I forgot to mention that. So I wanted to do some preemptive because I knew I was going to be sore. I've been having a knot in the back, right down the back, left, lower back. I had a knot that I've been trying to get out. So I got a massage, which was great, by the way. But I passed a place and it brought back so many memories. So my childhood memory this week is going to be about a club called the Cos. It was in Willoughby, Ohio. And this place we used to go to on the weekends before I graduated. We were still young. It was like a teenager club, right? And this was a time where you still had to, show your ID to get in or whatever, because you had to be a certain age. You had to be 16 or whatever like that. And I remember the one day it was me, my best friend, my best friend's brother, and Real over here going in. He said the Kai's white buns and black. Yes, it was. It was definitely an interracial crowd there. The Kai's was the shit back in the day, but I remember the one time where I just lost pretty much like most of my weight, but my ID still had, you know, my 16-year-old picture on there. And I was like 17. I just lost my weight or whatever. And they wasn't gonna let me in because they like looking at the picture, looking at me, looking at the picture, looking at me. And they're like, no, we're not letting you in. That's not you. And I'm like, bullshit. So we all outside and they didn't leave me and go into the club. They was waiting. They like, man, we got to get you in somehow. So it was a cop in the parking lot, you know, sitting there because, you know, for afterwards to make sure fights or nothing. So me being me, I walk up on the cop car, his window down and stuff. He just sitting there chilling. I'm like, hey, can I ask you a question? He was like, yeah, what's going on? So he gets out, whatever, and we talking. I'm like, I was like, just to let you know. So I lost a lot of weight. I used to be fat, and so I lost weight. But my picture is still the old picture because I haven't had to get a new ID.
Right.
He's like, let me see. So I show him, and he looking at the picture, looking at me, looking at the picture, looking at me. And so then I turn to the sideways and go like that, like to push my cheeks out. And he was like, yeah, that's you for sure. Like, how did he not know? He was like, did you do that for him when you went in there? And I was like, yeah, but he said it wasn't me. And I was like, can you come with me and tell him, like, yes, that's him. You can tell he just lost weight. And he was like, all right. He was like, I'll go and tell him that. But if he don't let you in, that's still on them, you know? And I was like, all right, cool, but it's worth a shot. So the cop was so cool. He went in. We went to the door to the, you know, the door guy. And he told him, he was like, dude, it's him. You know, you can just tell he lost weight. But he was like, but it's still on you if you want to let him in. And so the guy was like, you know, I'll take your word for it. Y'all seem cool. Y'all been waiting. Y'all ain't, you know, argue with me about letting you in or whatever. So I'm going to let y'all in.
Okay.
But the cop was so cool by looking out that way. And that night was like so epic. We had so much fun that night. So that place today, I mean, not today, but this weekend brought back so many great memories of just, you know, hanging out and driving to different kid clubs and teen clubs and stuff like that. So that is my childhood memory for this week.
Do they even have teen clubs anymore?
No.
I'm grown as shit, so I wouldn't know.
That's there.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard of any. I think they tried to have a couple of them downtown, but it kept breaking out with fights and everything like that. So they just kind of just stopped it altogether.
I always say if you have a fight, spray them with water. They used to do that back in the never mind.
Okay.
We used to have a lot of teen clubs when I was growing up.
I know, right?
We had Dad's, which was on Lee and Miles. We had the Coliseum. We had Cotton Club that was right across.
Y'all had Vales or something too, didn't y'all?
Well, Vales was 18 and up. So I had by the time I got in Vales, I was like 17, about to be 18, and I got let in, and we was drinking and all that shit. But
17.
Vales was the shit.
Oh no. Yes, Vales was the shit, but
I was the shit.
I was much younger than you going to Vales.
Okay, I believe you. Because
I was because she was like 13 or 14.
But see, it's all in presentation.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go in there dressing like you got to present yourself.
Yeah, we
nice dress.
We used to try to go in there sharp. That's how we getting in when we was young. So, definitely.
You know, when I got carded, I was almost 30.
Wow.
Hey, that's funny. But
and imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
on the west side we would go to. Like, it was a lot of teen clubs back then.
Yeah,
so
not a lot. The only thing they have now for teens, I think, more is skating. It's skating has built back up again,
and that still goes crazy.
Yeah. My childhood memory is I've always been in music and entertainment, but I was in this dance group in school. And I was thinking about it today because I've been, working on some stuff. I did a video for my Mango and Shea Butter song, but I totally didn't like my moves. I didn't like the way I looked. So I deleted it. I made the person delete it. Like, if it ever comes up and comes out, like, I will bury you and your whole family kind of thing. Anyway, so I was in dance and I was, I was going through a lot of, transition as a kid, in home and everything like that. But dancing and singing, that was my therapy. That was my getaway and everything like that. So I'm in school and we're in this dance, and it was this girl and she was in a dance group as well, and they used to battle. So she had this move, and she was like, now I'm double jointed, and she had this move that she would do, and I'm like, and it's like I wanted to do this move so bad, I never forget. And so I would just always watch her. I was always very element about it, and I would always just like, I was a great imitator. You know what I'm saying? I can imitate anything that I saw. If I worked my mind around it, I could do it. So I'm like, I'm gonna get this move map. Now, thing was, she was very much shorter than me. So she could do the move, she'd bend back, and when she would bend back, she would fall back and like just fall into a pretzel. So I knew that I could fold into a pretzel, but the drop back was the issue. So we get into the thing and we're learning or whatever like that. I'm like, oh, I've been practicing that move you do or whatever like that. So the thing made me mad is she didn't want me to be able to do the move. So it bothered me. And I'm like, because I really liked her and I just whatever like that. She was, light-skinned girl, pretty hair, this and that and the other. And she had this birthmark or whatever. And I just was like, I just loved being around her. And when I was around, because, I was always like the ugly duckling kind of thing. And she was like, no, you can't do this move. Oh, nobody can do this move because this is my, signature move. No, you can't do it. And I was just like, right. So in the hype of me, like, I'm going to prove to you I can do this move. But now I'm so anxious, I'm not paying attention to the energy. And I go to do the move and I throw myself back, but I do it with so much vigor that I slam myself on the top of my head. Oh, Jaja, let me tell you, I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything or whatever like that. Now, everybody's like, oh my God, the girl just go, and she just, I told you couldn't do it. I had to be rushed to the hospital and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And but when I end up getting in a group and we end up getting to challenge her group, and she walks up to me because we hadn't spoken, we weren't friends no more than that. Because like you really just was like, you dead, like you know what I'm saying. And then she was like, when you get up there, she was like, you better do that move and you better kill it. Now, nice. I still wanted to do the move because I was a daredevil, but she was like, you better do that move and kill it. And mind you, it's 3 groups. So it's her group, my group, and the other group. She didn't want the other group to win. Now, she didn't want me to win either, but she didn't want to have to go up against the other group. Anyway, I was just like, she trying to make me kill myself again or whatever like that. End up doing the move. We slammed it. We end up going against each other and we end up tying up. And her group end up jumping the other group in the bathroom of the club. Oh, no.
That's just hilarious. All right, Real over here going in on this. So back to my childhood, he gonna say, no, in all fairness, you did a nutty professor, so he didn't know if you was Sherman or Buddy Love. You transferred.
It takes Real to just be so mean. Oh my gosh.
Then he gonna say, why I believe her on the bury the family thing, talking about you. And then he say, BBC ain't doing no pretzel.
I'm not gonna go there with Real because he is a meanie.
Do it.
No. Anyway, Sister T, childhood memory.
My favorite childhood memory.
Demonstrate the move. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sister T. Go
ahead.
I'm
not listening to him.
I felt she was gonna do it.
No.
Okay, never mind. As I'm listening to you talk, both of you, and I'm like, okay, I have a lot of childhood memories, and it's kind of difficult to pull one.
It always is.
But my favorite childhood memory is privacy.
Okay.
Like you could leave home and be gone all day. That in essence is your time for privacy. You're not being bothered by your sister, your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your cousin, your dog. Is your time, right? So with the invasion of the cameras everywhere now, the all-seeing eye, like, why are you all in my business?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But that's another conversation. But the whole thing about privacy that I experienced, like being able to sit out in a car and neck with a guy and not have to worry about. Well, I will say one time somebody did knock on the window. Better watch out, the police is coming. But and
not have to worry about being like your mama saying, I seen somebody showed me their phone and you was on social media or
all of that. The pointing of the phone by somebody anonymously that knows who you are.
Yeah.
But showing something for somebody else.
Yeah.
Their entertainment.
No, I love that.
And so I relish in having that memory, right? To be able to not have a phone pick up my conversation that I'm having and then send me an email or a text message about, do you have erectile dysfunction? First of all, no, yes, yes. And it's like, maybe that's because I leave my phone by my television and you know those commercials.
Yeah.
I don't talk to my phone. So if it pick up something, it pick up whatever.
I don't even sleep.
I don't even, I don't entertain it like that. It's like the screen pops up. Oh, maybe if you say something like, I want candy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
That's not your job for me. You trying to get another position. That's not your position. Right. That's like taking pictures with your phone. And like in the beginning, back years ago, you take a picture and nothing will pop up. Then I got to be a part of Facebook and I would take a picture and the Facebook icon would pop up. So like my Instagram picture, I didn't put that picture up there. They took that off the roll of my pictures in my phone. Oh, wow. So I link up with the photographer of my Instagram picture, which is the black and white photo. That was when I was a messenger for Quicksilver. That was like late 80s, early 90s. And that was a May Company. This brother used to be the photographer for May Company. And I guess I'll drop his name. It's T. Darrell Pope because we done linked up now. But he was a very popular photographer back in the 80s and 90s. And I mean, I'm reckon he's still doing his thing because we just became friends again. So that being said, but he reached out to me. He was like, is that picture I took of you years ago? And I said, yes, I still have the picture. It's in the frame you gave it to me in and everything, but that was another life when I was like one of a couple of female bicycle messengers and like one African-American out of both of them.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, we had one, but she didn't last long enough to qualify as being the second African-American bicycle messenger. Yeah, the weather beat her down. Wow, the weather beat her down. So,
especially
I like that your childhood memory was privacy.
Privacy.
Absolutely.
Right. I love that. That literally just set me on fire. It's like, because we have none.
Like you on the phone talking to your friend and it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night and your father's trying to get through to tell your mother something because he's still out in the street and you on the phone. And next thing you hear is, we have an emergency phone call from, which is literally saying, get your behind off the phone right now. I have something important to say.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. I remember those days.
Remember those right there.
All right, I think that's a great time to take our one and only sponsor break. Listen, don't go anywhere. We got more Just Therapy, more Sister T. When we come back, we'll do flowers while they're still here and get into our topics. But I'm telling you, we got some good topics on board. Don't go nowhere.
Go to bed.
Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back, and you already know who I am, and I'm taking us to break, baby.
Primal Screen in Kent, Ohio. For all your screen printing and embroidery needs. Quality work, on time, fair prices. For more information, call 330-677-1766. Again, 330-677-1766. Or check us out online, primalscreenprinting.com. If you mention a podcast, you get 5% off. Peace.
Custom Design Aquariums, where we bring your aquatic dreams to life. With your help, using your imagination, together, we will turn your home or office into a peaceful getaway. For a free consultation, call 330-475-5181 or contact us by email at customdesignaqua@gmail.com. Once again, that is customdesignaaqua@gmail.com. Mention this podcast and get 5% off.
Woo, you already know what it is. Y'all know what I do every single week. We got to drop them plugs because I have the best pizza place for you. Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. They got 3 locations and one on the way. The first location is at 1909 Bailey Road, Cuyahoga Falls. Their phone number is 330-928-2222. Second location is in downtown Akron, across the street from Rubber Duck Stadium. That address is 325 South Main Street, Akron. Their phone number is 330-849-5707. And the third and newest location is in Stowe. That is 3031 Graham Road, Stowe, Ohio. Their phone number is 330-673-9410. Best thing I think about the downtown location has to be the beer wall, because they have 36 glorious taps of wine, ales, IPAs, whatever you can think of. And I like to call it the Dave and Buster's of beer. Okay. You go in there, you put money on the card, you walk up with the card, you put it on the tap, and you pour as much beer or wine or ale as your heart desires. But please drink responsibly. Also, another thing I love about Twisted Tomato Pizzeria is they cater to your taste buds. I'm talking about any specialty you order, anything you order is always made just right. You know, I'm a cheeseless type of person, so anytime I order something, it's always no cheese, extra sauce, whatever toppings I want. And it's always perfect the way I ordered it. Please make sure you check out Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. You will not be disappointed. If you mention Just Therapy, the podcast, you get a 10% discount. I say it again, that's 10% discount because they are the official sponsor of Just Therapy, the podcast. As for the owner, Brad Cover, make sure you get your 10%. Make sure you try out some Twisted Tomato Pizzeria, because you know if it's pizza, it's possible. Yes, indeedy. Also, I got to do a shameless plug. You already know what's coming up real soon.
I don't really have that much company, thank goodness.
You know the months is going by real fast, and you already know what time it is, because in May 25th, Saturday, and May 26th, Sunday, we got Reggae Fest Cleveland. Make sure you check them out. Our very own Miss BBC is starting off Saturday, and she has a special guest with her. She was a friend of the couch, so make sure you check them out. And then Sunday on the 26th, Milton Blake, another friend of the show, is going to be on at 2 p.m. So make sure you check out the lineup. That is Reggae Fest Cleveland. For more information, go to reggaefestcleveland.com for ticket prices and show announcements and times. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be a great vibe. Check out Reggae Fest Cleveland. That's at reggaefestcleveland.com. Check it out. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Yes. And we are back.
Yes, I.
Yeah, welcome back. All right, let's get back into it. We always like to do flowers while they're still here, instead of being conditioned like so many of us are to give people flowers while they're dead and gone. We like to give people flowers while they're still here so they can smell those roses. All right. So my flowers this week has to go to my team that I had for the super draft.
Do you see him?
Coach,
I see him.
Was Amanda Buxton. I see him. Amanda Buxton was our coach, so you know it was cool. She let us help her out and make some decisions and everything like that. It wasn't like she took it on just herself. It was a team effort, and big shout out to that team, because like I said, the first game it was cold, so I was struggling a little bit. Walked a couple people way more than I wanted, but they stuck with me, let me find my groove, and oh, did I find my damn groove. So
Right.
shout out to the team that I had this week. It was cool. We had a good time. We had a bunch of laughs, a bunch of drinks, and it was a fun time. So the whole team is getting their flowers. Well-deserved, team. Appreciate y'all.
Bless.
All right. So who want to get flowers next? Well, who would you like to give flowers to today?
Today my immediate thought would be to my uncle, Jack Chandler. That's the father of my cousin that came in. He's in his mid to late 80s. So, you know, I look out for him because my cousin is in another state and he's an only child. So I am blessed to have a part of my grandmother and grandfather as well as a part of my mother.
I like that.
Because that's my mother's brother. We share DNA. And one of the things that they mention in the internet world is that mothers carry the DNA of every child they ever have. Like for the rest of their life, they carry that. So the same thing holds true for my DNA is for all of my ancestors. But what I notice is that I get the best recharge when I'm around my family. I can get a vibe from the people and feel like, but getting a hug from my niece, and she's 4.5, and that's I just found out before we came on air was that my two nieces were in a car accident. So, you know, I had to like, oh, okay. I'm thankful that they're all right. Praises to the Most High.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And to have that kind of cheering section come from someone small like that, and then to have it come from tweens that are, hey, auntie, how you doing? And to get it from my nieces that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. Hey, auntie, nephew, same way. That's a charge. And it kind of hurts me when people say, oh, family ain't all like that. I don't like my family. Okay, I get it. Because again, home training doesn't make good people all the time because they don't get the proper training.
Absolutely.
The time we're in now is do as I say and as I do. We grew up in a time of do as I say, not as I do. Don't drink, but go get my beer out the refrigerator.
Right.
Don't smoke cigarettes, but I need you to go to the store for me and get a pack of cigarettes. Don't do drugs, but you watching me go in the bathroom with cousin Pete and we shooting up or something. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a new time and you can't expect respect from children if you're not respecting yourself.
It's true.
And that is the whole thing to me is you can accept your relatives that aren't that great. You ain't got to be around them. You pray for them.
That's all you got to do. Or
pray for them.
Show love in another way.
You know what I'm saying? I can love you long distance. But
so your uncle, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut.
Yeah,
my
uncle's in a facility.
Right.
He's in an assisted living facility. So, you know, he's like, I'm trying to get out this spot. And I'm saying, okay, but it's some stuff that they do for you that you won't do for yourself.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be logical about this. If we could find a senior group home that would allow you to hit the street like you hit in the street, but come back and make sure that you have a decent meal, 3 of them a day, your medication is being taken properly, and you're being loved.
Right.
That's what's important.
I might actually have a good one for you.
Okay. And so that's why, and he probably will never ever see this podcast, but again, Jack Chandler Senior.
You can play it for him.
Yeah, that is who I give my flowers to. That is the last of my mother's siblings.
Right.
When he passes, I have to give more hugs to my cousins, my senior cousins that are in their 70s now.
Well, Big Jack, Uncle Jack, you getting your flowers. Well deserved, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I am going to give my flowers to Sister T. today, and I usually give in group. I know you're going to say it, so I'm going to say it for you.
That's 2
I
weeks
do
in a row. You
usually,
good. Good.
yeah,
I like
giving
this.
group. But lately I have wanted to just give the individuals that I'm coming across, especially within feminine energy,
Yep.
because it's not easy. And you do a lot. You take care of a lot of people that I know of. And you have a very nurturing spirit, and your cousins and your nieces and the babies, and everywhere we go, everybody love you. I actually learned how to hug properly from Sister T.
Okay.
And I used to be very weird about touch and everything like that until I met my father's my father's wife's family. But I never knew how to give a proper hug. And now I will not allow anybody to hug me without two hands. Two arms rather. Our hearts have to be together.
You could always get that.
The church hug
I call it the one titty hug.
or the church hug.
I call it the one titty hug. How you doing?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because if you coming in for me like this, you must need to get what I'm giving.
Yeah.
And if I want to hug you, then you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I did a lot of hugs like that this weekend because I felt people needed that. You know what I'm saying?
And we don't sometimes realize when we need it. Sometimes we don't realize when sometimes how you had that moment where somebody hugged you and you just like kind of fall into it like, thank you, and I found that out, and because I hug people like that, even strangers, sometimes I have people fall into tears just from a hug.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know she has that experience on a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, Sister T, you definitely deserve them flowers. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Real quick before we get into that first topic, really fast. We was talking about the hugs real quick. So it was a dude that was leaving. So I always played against him in the super draft or whatever. Never been on the same team. Matter of fact, big shout out to Ashley Johnson. I finally got to be on her team because we usually battling each other and talking shit to each other and just having fun. But we got to be on the same team and talk shit to other people, so it was fun. But this dude came up to me before he left because he was leaving. So I dapped him up, gave him a hug, and he was like, "Hey, I want to tell you, the positive messages you give on Facebook all the time are well needed." And he was like, "Listen, you don't know I be watching." He's like, "But I'm always watching." He was like, even I turn it, I tune into the podcast on Spotify and just listen to all the positive vibes that you give out with the ponder on me's on your social media. He was like, "Please do not stop doing that because it's a lot of times this helped me keep going." So for him to say that, and I was like, "Dude, I needed that." You know what I'm saying? I was like, I appreciate that. It was like, I really needed it. And he did that right before he left. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Please keep doing what you're doing with the positive."
Yeah, no, it's real.
It's too much fucking negativity out here. I don't need to be negative.
It is. Neutralize it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't realize how those little messages really neutralize just for a second, because even if people ain't liking or whatever like that, they see it. And
hey, what's going on with you? Anne-Marie Vernon in the building. She say,
"Oh, that's Jata Marie."
Oh,
Marie in the building. What's going on, sis? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you, sis.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this topic. You want me to play the video first, since we got video, or you want to jump right into it and then play the video?
I want you to play the video.
All right, here we go. Our first topic this week is
happening tomorrow. A mom will find out her punishment.
The first topic this week is
16-month-old daughter home alone for almost 2 weeks while she went on vacation. Sadly, that baby girl died, and now prosecutors are fighting to make sure she gets justice. See, a New Yorker has the story from the Justice Center.
Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley says this case is, quote, unimaginable, and he's pushing for justice for Jaylyn, that 16-month-old baby girl who's no longer with us because of a selfish decision her mother made. This tragic case made headlines all around the world. Investigators say last June, Cristel Candelario left her 16-month-old daughter Jaylyn home alone in Cleveland for 10 days while she traveled to Detroit and Puerto Rico. When she returned, she found the baby unresponsive and called 911. When first responders arrived at the home near West 97th and Lorraine Avenue, they found the baby girl dead in her pack and play on a liner soiled with urine and feces. Emergency personnel pronounced her dead at the scene. Candelario, then 31 years old, was arrested and booked into jail on a $1 million bond, charged with aggravated murder and endangering children. For months, she proclaimed her innocence in court, her defense attorney telling 19 News in a sit-down interview that Candelario suffered from mental illness.
It can just make...
I know. I know. When I saw this, this is the second event that I seen where a mother has left the child to go and party and do what they want to do.
Like,
why? The worst part is she had her parents in her life. Her mother actually testified for her, trying to say that she always had mental illness. Well, regardless of the fact, we all have some form of mental illness in some way or form. You didn't have mental illness when you were posting them pictures on Facebook and Instagram while you were in Puerto Rico, while you were in traveling and anything. She did what she did on purpose, and this comes, and this goes so deep to me because I feel like these women that have babies thinking they're going to keep a man, and then once that man is not wanting to be with their life or not want to deal with that baby, then they don't want the baby. And instead of taking the proper process to say, hey, let me get this baby to somebody, let me go to the system, let me say, and maybe even though she probably asked for help, maybe she said, I'm tired of being a parent. Maybe she repeated that. It's because sometimes parents hear their kids say they don't want to be a parent and no one says anything. Because when somebody is crying out for help and saying, yo, I don't want to do it, I don't want to be a parent, I don't want this baby, people try to force them in it. It's your baby, you better take care of your baby, you're a mother, this is a beautiful baby. When people are saying, I have a problem, listen, I don't want this baby, listen. But at the same time, it makes no excuse, because it wasn't like you went crazy or you went off and you were just walking the streets or anything. You went on vacation, you blood clot or wicked girl, and partied and had fun or whatever like that while your baby starved to death. How dare you? How fucking dare you? Excuse me, but every time I see her, I dream about this lady face. I just want to, and then the judge and the detective and everybody, they're like, oh my God, of course she deserved to get life. And everybody's like, oh my God. And it's always like this, people try to find, well, mental illness or whatever like that. That's your excuse so you can get it down. You weren't claiming mental illness. There's nothing all over your page. You're not saying, hey, I'm going through these things. You're saying, I want to go and party and be in Puerto Rico and do my thing. And I'm posting pictures, and you do this to this child. And I'm wondering, like, no one heard the baby screaming, or maybe the baby was screaming all the time and they just was like, well, that's what goes on. I don't know. What y'all thoughts? I got some stuff that I want to share as well, but let me get y'all thoughts first.
Go ahead, Sister T, because I got a lot.
I got a lot too. Let me first say that I am pro-choice. Okay. So if you find out that you're pregnant, off the drip, you don't want that. Either just for your GP or the father ain't what it need to be for a proper foundation, but you should have known that before you lay down with it, but that's a whole different story. Would you rather a person terminate a pregnancy that does not have a proper foundation, or wait 6 months after they get here, 2 years
in this case?
I'm saying I was getting ready 2 years. If it's not the mother, it is the father. This baby won't shut up. This baby, okay, again, not a proper foundation. But when you say, I'm taking a trip, I know what I'm leaving in the house. Like people say, I forgot the baby in the car. What? See, I grew up where you could leave your kid in the car, you crack the window and you keep it moving. But this is a different, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. So to the point of saying, this is more important. Me doing this is more important than that baby I carried for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather the option be given, okay, I know I don't want kids because I know that they won't do a tubal ligation on a woman until she's a certain age. It's like, oh, you're going to want kids one day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
If this woman says, I don't want kids and she is 21, let her do what she want to do. If she needs an abortion, if she needs a tubal ligation to prevent, now you in prison for life.
And now you got to put somebody in prison for life. But
and the child is gone.
Mm-hmm.
For what? What good will come of it? What good will come of me going on vacation and hanging out and spending money and not having my child with me when I could have left the child with somebody?
This was premeditated.
Those are things that you say, oh, you know what? I don't like my baby daddy, no way.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
How long will it take for a baby to die?
No.
Did they look that up on the internet? That's what we need to go see.
Yeah, it said, well, it depending on the child. One said between 3 to 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you doing that kind of research, that's premeditated.
I mean, and that's even because, if the child don't choke off of crying or something like that within the first,
right,
couple of hours.
Whatever they're subjected to, if they're on their own, they're in a pen. Okay, fine. The least you could have did was leave something. Heck, if you leave a dog or a cat in the house, you're going to make sure they get fed, but not the kid.
And this is why I say it's premeditated. She wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Sean.
It's a lot to unpack here. First off, I'm so happy she got life in prison.
Me too. I wish she would have got the chair.
I would. That's one of those things where you like,
Yeah,
you can overstand it.
Yeah.
Second is, you just said she had her parents in her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she could have made arrangements. Hey, I really need some time away. I want to go out of town. I got these tickets. Please watch the baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Third, she could have still dropped her ass off at the fire station. They still do that. They still do that. Leave her at the fire station. Take her to the adoption agency.
Yeah.
Don't just leave her in the fucking house to die like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you I don't even.
Okay. Side thought.
Take a breather.
What if that was her plan all along?
It had to be.
No. I don't have to pay rent no more. I don't have to buy food no more. I don't have to. I might have friends in jail. Some people like to go to jail for that. Prison.
Because she fighting to stay out of jail, though.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. She fighting to stay out of jail. She talking about, she had mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
I that's what I do for a living. I talk to people about mental illnesses and suicide prevention. So it's like, you cannot blame. So let's put it in this aspect. When people want to blame stuff on, I was drunk or I was high, I always hated that because, I understand, some people get, that liquid courage in them or whatever. And some people get mean when they get drunk, or some people forget stuff when they high, blah, blah, blah. I've always hated that because if you act different, don't do the shit, period. Because to me, it's just an excuse. And an excuse is all it is you building bricks to an excuse wall or an excuse bridge. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the simple fact, she could have left that baby at the fire station. It's so many people that can't have kids that would have
Right.
adopted that baby
Right. Yeah.
and gave her a home.
She could have took it to the hospital,
And gave
any
her a
place,
chance.
everything.
She could have left it on the porch.
Yep.
Somebody would have came.
Yeah.
And
Wrap
gave
it up
that
real good.
baby a chance. And to not get in trouble, she could have just dropped it off at the fire station.
Yeah.
But to give that baby a chance to have its own decisions. This baby didn't stand a chance. But to blame her for mental illness, like
10 days.
Illness was it? Like, that's bullshit. You drove to Detroit in sound mind. You got on a plane and went to Puerto Rico, and you was down there drinking and having a great old time. You probably had sex or whatever, or just still partied, like whatever. So you deserve to spend life behind bars. And for her mom to say, "Oh, well, she was always fighting with mental illnesses." What is wrong with you? That's your grandma. Why don't you talk to her and say, "Hey, I understand you got mental illnesses. Let me help you." Or adoption.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this to this defenseless baby.
Like, it wouldn't have been nothing. I would have never stood up and said, well, money, has it would have, like, first of all, they would have had to peel me off of her, even if she would have made it to court. You know what I'm saying? Even as a mother, as a woman, and don't get me wrong, I dealt with stuff when money was little or whatever like that, because I thought that's how you were supposed to parent. But when I knew what I knew and I needed help, there was help there for me, and everything. So I have some stuff that the judge had said. So when the judge sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole, she said, just as you didn't let Jalen out of her confinement until she died, so too you should spend the rest of your life in a cell without freedom.
Absolutely.
She said the only difference between you and her is that prison will have to at least feed you. And then at the sentencing, the detective, who was so he was just distraught he wrote a poem for the baby. And as he was just delivering it, the emotion of this man who obviously might have been a parent. And it was just, I'm just going to read it because I just feel like it's relevant. J is for the justice that will be received today. A is for the angel wings she earned on that dreadful day. I is for the increment, repetition, build up, and suspense for a death that clearly makes no sense. L is for the lack of love while alone for 11 days. Y is for the young life that was taken away. N is for the new eternal life Jalen gained on that day. No child should have to die in this way. And I'm like, how fucking dare you? And it's crazy because in the same aspect, a couple of years ago, the girl Asia Cuddy that left her daughter for her 20-month-old. She left her 20-month-old in the house alone to go celebrate her 18th birthday. And this was in 2003. And she just really had to go out and just wanted to go and celebrate her birthday. So she left her 20-month-old in the house for 6 days to go take a trip. And my thing is, why? How? What is the reason? Okay, you want to go and you want to have your life, but there are people there. Maybe you call people and they couldn't make I'm saying, but if you gotta just go on a trip, take your baby with you.
Right.
Take your baby with you. How in your mind are you and maybe I don't know what y'all went through as kids. I don't know what the parenting was like you said, parenting and everything like that. But you're taking these children and you're taking their lives, and not even taking their lives. You're allowing them to die each day. You're allowing them to live in fear. Where are you? The woman that wanted to go lay up with the man in the middle of the night, she went and left the baby 2 o'clock in the morning to go get her son from the man or whatever like that. The baby, I guess, woke up choking, and died from saliva, and it's just like, why couldn't he come over your house? Why couldn't he come? Like, you had to have some that bad. Like, why couldn't he come over there so you can get some or whatever like that? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't want to rationalize the thinking or whatever like that. I want to know, how can you be so selfish that you can just literally, you know what I'm saying? It's diabolical, to really think in your mind, I'm about to go and leave a baby by themselves away. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, Money didn't even want to sleep in her own room, and all our kids, me and my cousins and them kids, they slept on top of each other like puppies.
Same bed.
On the floor. So
yes.
I don't know. I don't understand the thinking of people today. I don't get it. I don't see how this work. And it's like, sometimes I blame us, like the millennials, like we dropped the ball somewhere, and not that abuse wasn't going on and stuff wasn't going on and children weren't dying in homes, but trying to keep our kids from going through what we went through or whatever like that. And somewhere the ball, and this woman, she's 30 something years old. So she's not even, I can't say the 18-year-old, you know what I'm saying? I don't give her an excuse either, because you're old enough to know better, but you're 30 something years old and you literally left this baby like, no,
alone.
You're not blaming on mental illness. She needs life. She needs the gas chamber. I hope they get her up in that prison. And I hope a woman say, I can't even see my baby. And I hope the shank is made out of rusty toothbrush, And I don't want to wish bad on anybody, but everything she gets, everything that happens to her, oh my goodness, everything she deserves in the fullness of everything. Because that is sick. And then they had a video. I guess, I don't know if she had something set up or something. I saw a video, and the thing that at first when I sent you from Instagram with the baby crying. So I'm like, where did this video come from? Or is this the baby, or is they just showing what the baby might have been going through? It's like, how could you? And this is what I be thinking, some people here are aliens. I think like people in slavery and masters and stuff, those people were aliens because can't no real human. I've had people literally hurting me, and I still had to cringe when I had to defend myself, because my spirit and my humanness was just like, I gotta poke the eyes out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So can't no human cut no body parts off and you're not a human being. You're not. Those are the people that's a third of a human. Those people are that's sickness, And it's just, oh my goodness. Every time I just think about it, thought about it, I was just like, and I was not going to even use it as a topic because it makes me so, And I was like, when you kept saying topic, I was like, but I had to, because it was the most disgusting thing.
But sometimes we gotta talk about those tough topics, though.
Yeah, right.
I need to move on because that shit got me pissed.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah. So, all right. So I want y'all thoughts on this, y'all, for real. Especially as ladies and everybody and the people that's watching right now. I want to know your thoughts. So this is the setup. So I believe, I'm not sure if they're married, but they're a couple. We can say they're married. We can say they're not married. Either way, they're a couple. They've been a couple for a minute. The lady goes out to a club. The guy doesn't have any problems with that. But she got into it with a dude at the club, and evidently nothing actually went down, but it could have went down. And this was the message that he sent her about the situation. So I want to know if y'all say this is too much, not enough, what part is good, what part is not. I just want y'all opinion on this. I want y'all thoughts on this. Here we go. So as you heard how I set it up, the female goes out to a club and gets into it with a guy. Okay, so here we go. It says yes because, you know, WTF, y'all, we already know what that is. You know, what the fuck, babe? You are literally starting nursing school, but you, instead of carrying yourself like an upstanding model citizen, you want to get into it with a dude at a club. Like, do you not see the disconnect here? Do better. You luckily I wasn't there because you would have gotten taken smooth out of there. Let me make something perfectly clear for you. You are a representation of me when you are out in public. I bet not ever hear you getting into it with anyone, and especially not no dude. You are a lady, but not just any lady. You are my lady, and you need to govern yourself as such. Do I make myself clear?
Well, first, I need to know what the falling out was about. Like, as far as with the dude, you know, and you, because I can't make that decision. Did this dude touch her inappropriately? Was he being disrespectful? Did she tell him, "Hey, I have a man"?
So,
anything like that? Like, I need to know.
Let's just say hypothetically, they just we'll break each one down for your, you know, for your fancy. Let's say she just got into it with this dude, right? Like, he said something that she didn't like, so she said something and popped fly and got in his face. Now, what do you say?
That's a hard decision to make. I mean, for me, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't there. But okay, on the fact of, regardless of the fact, as if you're my man, regardless of the fact if you feel like I'm wrong or not, have my side. This is a man arguing with a woman, you know. And don't get me wrong, because some women out here be mad disrespectful, you know what I'm saying, and mad, you know, on other levels when it come to men, which I don't like. But, you know, I feel like that I can't really say, you know what I'm saying, you're not, he doesn't have her side at all. And then you're like, you're a representation of me. I'm a representation of myself first. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask me what happened. How, don't say, oh, you're doing this or whatever. Like, what happened that you got into it with this man? Like, find out the story and or whatever like that, but don't just justify it. Don't belittle it to a point. You're going to nursing school in a minute and you're a representation of me. So I don't want to hear about my lady out here doing that. I think it's a play down. Unless this is her thing all the time. But it's just
that was my thought.
Yeah.
That was my thought right there.
Yeah.
First of all, if you've been together a while, you know the behavior. Okay?
Yeah.
You know the behavior. You wake up with it, you go to sleep with it, you break bread with it, you know the behavior. So if she got those tendencies, because she's not going to be disrespected. Let's say she come from a household of brothers.
Yeah.
And that's how she rolled.
Yeah.
Like, look, sir. Period. I digress to mention the two twin sisters in New York. Walked past some people standing outside the store and somebody said something to them and they didn't have no holler for him. They come out the store, he stabbed both of them.
Yeah.
One of them died. Now, when I was a young lady, younger, and would go out clubbing, guys say, oh, can I have a dance with you? Okay. You know, the first thing they say was, bitch, okay, fine. But it stopped right there. There was no extra. But in the case of this person trying to check his woman, you know what kind of woman she is. You know she's not going to be disrespected. So we don't have the text from her to give us more clarification. So we just going to go with, you know what kind of woman you got.
Absolutely. I like
but
that.
You don't have a right to talk to her to say act accordingly, because if her father was in her life, she would already know how to act accordingly, which is what you're exemplifying for your daughter right now. We go out together. This is what behavior I want from you. This is what a man in your life would expect from you. No roughhousing, no craziness, whatever.
And he wasn't even there.
But that's he ain't even in the picture.
No, I'm saying she reaching to say what he said.
She reaching out to him to say, babe, this is what popped off.
Right.
Okay, I'm letting you know I'm at the club and it's popped off. So to say to me, you need to act accordingly.
Representation of me.
I represent myself first, as you just mentioned. So how can you possibly say that I'm supposed to be better if you know, one, I got the tendency, and even if I don't, let's say somebody cups my behind, you're gonna get checked. Not only are you gonna get checked, you might get this.
Mhm.
Because if you went to co-ed middle school, high school, somebody cupping something, you bogarting.
Yeah.
It ain't no words. There are none. Because if you got time for conversation, you got time for another move. Ain't none.
Yeah. I could see if he would have said something like, I don't know what this guy did, or you know, you should have called me, but I don't want you out there fighting a guy. He said none of that. It was basically to me, like you basically, he was attacking her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And regardless of the fact of whatever, like he did not, and this is a lot that's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? And I see this a lot, even on social media, even just out in public, period, with friends, where they're just like, men are just like, well, you should have been and you shouldn't have been, or whatever like that. I see more women defending their men than men defending their women. And I feel like he did not even defend her, regardless of the fact if she was just a hoorah girl or not, saying, hey, I know you don't play about nobody disrespecting you, but when I'm not there, I don't want you getting into it, guys. Whatever he did, you shouldn't have did that, because I don't want my lady out there fighting. And you know what I'm saying? You about to be a nurse or whatever like that. It was to me, it was like, no, you know.
It was no comfort in the conversation.
It was no protection or anything. It was just like a kind of.
He was admonishing her instead of just saying, you know what, babe, I'm sorry you went through that. Come on home. When you get home, I have a little snack for us. We can have a little tete-a-tete about this and see what you know, what really happened. Because again, somebody could have cupped something, spilled a drink on that silk dress, and was like, you know,
whatever,
F you,
or got mad because she wouldn't give her number. You know what I'm saying? I get that all the time.
That's what we get all the time.
What are your thoughts?
Go ahead.
So I like, when I seen it, I read it different. I was just like, I mean, that was a little harsh. I think he could have picked his words a lot better.
Me too.
Like the representation, like you represent us, not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of the comments that I read were female comments. A lot of females agreed. They were saying that the line of, what was that last line? Do I make myself clear? That was the problem they had the most with the whole text.
Right.
That was the one they had the most confrontation with. They was like, he didn't have to say that. I think that was overreaching. They said the other part they agreed with. So like, I really don't have no thoughts on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but that's the thing. When you grown, some grown folks don't put themselves in different situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do clubs. You know what I'm saying? We do bowling together and hanging out. Other than that, we got the kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, some grown folks need to act accordingly to their damn age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you want to party and kick it out and you single, and it's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But some people just need to act accordingly to their age. Like, I don't think most of us need to be in a club where the club is 21 to 25 or 30. You know what I'm saying? Especially at my age, I have no reason to be there because I'm not trying to hook up with none of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know, so I kind of look at it that way. But
but depending on what was going on, I mean, she could have been at a birthday party or anything.
True. That's very true. So, you know, I mean, because, you know, birthday parties, you know, be at different places, which is
right.
I don't think he picked the right words, period.
Yeah,
I mean,
he really
not at all. Not at all.
It was a lot of words where it just didn't make any sense to me. Like the start nursing school, like just letting her be aware, like, hey, you know, you got to carry yourself better because you about to start nursing school. You could have messed that up. You know what I'm saying? If you got well, I can get that, but do you not see the disconnect? You know, what was it at? Like I didn't have a problem. Like you was lucky I wasn't there because you would have got taken smooth out of there. Like, you know, just grabbed her up and like, all right, let's go. You know, you don't need to be with this. But let me make something perfectly clear. Like, wait, you're a representation of us because y'all represent each other. when you out in public, not just you.
You're not your representation of
it's some other stuff in that conversation.
Exactly.
And
I had problems with the wording. A lot of
yeah. But the wording for me indicates that he sees himself in a different position. And not has her mate, but somebody she's supposed to be looking up to. And that's not it. I look at you and I love you, but we are right here for that wonder twin power activation. You're not going to wonder twin power activate me and then talk to me like that, because that's how folks get tumors and stuff.
It's a form of verbal abuse.
Okay.
Hey, Mama.
Hey.
Yep. All right. So I definitely wanted to have y'all opinion on that. So we about to get out of here. Before we get out of here, listen, Sister T, thank you so much for coming to the couch. We really appreciate you coming out and coming to the couch and discussing your story with us. We definitely appreciate it, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely, all day. So give your social medias one more time, and then we go do the close and get up out of here. It's getting a little late.
Yes, it is past my bedtime. You can reach out to me on John Messenger's Reggae Band Original on Facebook. We'll be working on other platforms for me to be on.
Nice.
Definitely.
That's what's up.
Because I just work, honey. I just work.
That's
what I do.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. All right, so here we go. Before we get out of here, we got to do our close. Something you can ponder on. Until the next time you see us live on Facebook and YouTube on the Just Therapy D podcast, or hear us next day on Spotify. So you're closed this week, and then I'm gonna have you break it down, Sister T, in your own words. I'm gonna read it, and then you break it down. All right. Okay. So here's your close. Something you can ponder on.
I love it.
Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. I'm going to read that again for you. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. What says you? Break it down for us in your own words.
Okay, see, because I was in my younger days, I worked factory. So I wore blue jeans a lot. But I worked, and I still work, but I wear different clothing. And I very rarely had more than one pair of jeans in my house at a time. So now I have two because I don't have your standard cut jean. You feel me? So even if it looked like work, you should be able to say we could do something. I personally, I'm not afraid to get dirt underneath my nails. My mom used to fuss me all the time. Oh my God, you just came home from work and you cutting the grass. Yes, because the grass needs to be cut. So I try not to miss opportunities, no matter how it's dressed, because I know it can come in silk, it can come in leather, it can come naked.
And just because it might look like work, it might be just the blessing you've been looking for.
Okay. Might not be no bad work. It's good work. It's productive.
Everybody looking for the shiny. They're looking for the glistening gold, the easy out, and not realizing those overalls might just be the opportunity they've been waiting for. I love that. Absolutely. I love that you're connected to that too.
I like it. Sister T, thank you so much for coming to the couch again. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessing, love, and light to you all.
Had a good time. BBC, you got to say something before we get up out of here.
Yes, I want to say, if no one has told you today, I love you, I believe in you, and I want you to win. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.
Hey, there we go. You already know how we do. And listen, we'll see you next week, God willing. And as always, there is one thing you can never get back, and it is time. And we want to thank you for your time on the couch with us. Listen, we out. Peace. Thanks, Sister T. Talk to y'all soon. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your host, comedian Sean Boyd. Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go.